Thank you so much.
So, thanks for being such great guests. We're almost at the end of the program, and to give us the keynote remarks, let us welcome Professor Wole Soyinka.
Thank you very much. First of all, thank everybody for attending and observing and cheering the winners. My speech will be very, very brief. It consists of 2 prayers and then a request. First, I should really have begun by apologizing for being late. We heard the reason, it's very genuine. And so I would like to make a connection with that apology so that I don't have to apologize the next time I'm here again. Especially the last category, the last but one category, photography. I would like you from time to time to go to some of these intersections, these so-called traffic jams, where traffic is held up, and you wonder what's holding up the traffic, and you wonder whether it's about a combination of 4 asthma, 6 policemen and women, of course, road safety, because they're all standing there as I observe this evening, and I observe numbers of times standing there while the traffic is standing still. They're either chewing gum or chewing a carrot or simply enjoying themselves, doing absolutely nothing whatsoever to assist the poor road users to just disentangle. Just takes a little effort. But there they are, chatting away, maybe looking at the watch, waiting for the moment when they could go out there the nearest booker. So just do that for me next time. The other photography. I noticed that the speaker there was very gratified to notice that you're looking internally also about this profession. And you listed a number of aspects of journalists for whom workshops are very useful. And I think maybe first in the line, because you didn't mention this, photographers. Photographers have to be persuaded that when an audience sits in it, they get to see those who've been awarded prizes, not the backside of photographers. They have to be taught the technology of cameras to understand that you don't have to push cameras in people's faces to get good photographs. And block the view completely with all these newfangled things, so that you have, first of all, the blockage from the human being, then you have these swabs. Well, I bought and I put and I put, which are supposed to give pictures. But those who've taken the trouble to come here for an event are prevented from seeing what's going on because you want to satisfy those at home who didn't get up to come and cheer up the winners. So please, do those little things for me. And then the 2 prayers now. I don't believe in prayers, but I believe in this one. The second one, especially. When my brother became either the dean of the School of Medicine or something like that, he had a small reception in his home, and there was a priest who decided to officiate. He wasn't really invited to say any prayers, but he took over anyway. And he had one line of prayer throughout. But in the name of God, you will not be probed. No matter what, you will not be probed. Never mind all the enemies, never mind all in the name of Jesus Christ, you will not be probed. My brother stood looking at him. Was it wrong? In the spirit, of course. Not the That's all he did that day. And then, of course, he had a very good meal. So, I have a counter prayer. favorite prayers. I didn't know how meaningful that prayer was until I heard that counter prayer by that priest. And of course, living in Nigeria, being exhausted, being overwhelmed by the enormity of the task, I realized that this second prayer is a very useful one, a talisman. Because corruption fights back, impunity fights back, and with the meanest, most lethal weaponry. So, once again, that is, you never be trusted. Thank you. Good.
Did say that it's hard to make Nigerians laugh. Well, we can say that it takes a great storyteller to make Nigerians laugh. Thank you, Prof, for that. To wrap up this event, I now welcome the Soyinka Program Manager at the Wole Center for Investigative Journalism. Please put your hands together for
present here. And it was today for believing in this cause and in the possibility of a better Nigeria with investigative reporting promises. We appreciate the River State government, the British High Commission and the Blue River Foundation for funding support, for sharing our vision and contributing to today's success. We are also grateful to all organizations and individuals who gave us in-kind support. We thank members of the 2013 Judges Board. We thank also Director Small Chops. We thank Sunset Cafe. Thank you very much to Martha Zeko, to Professor Pejulai Bola, who produced the plaques. We are indeed grateful. Thank you very much. We thank the media for believing in investigative reporting. We thank also the award recipients this evening. Thank you for believing in slow journalism, not the popular one, but for staking all. Heartfelt gratitude goes also to the WSCIJ Board of Trustees. I'm here to also say a big thank you to the WSCIJ team, to Monturayo, of course to myself.
the 8th edition of the Wole Soyinka Award for this. What is your impression of this?
Well, this evening we saw a fantastic group of journalists, fantastic group of journalists that have excelled in their field, and it was great to be part of recognising that achievement this evening. I mean, as I said when I spoke at the start, investigative journalism is vitally important in a democracy. It allows people to hold the powerful to account, to provide justice for those that deserve it, to send the guilty where they belong, and let the truth be free.
The British High Commission and the British Council, have been involved in partnering with organizations in Nigeria. And we see you coming out to partner with the Wole Soyinka Center for the Investigative Journalism this time around. What was the motivating factor for that?
Well, we have a long history of working with the Wole Soyinka Centre, and that's because we believe that investigative journalism is vitally important, and the Wole Soyinka Centre does great work in promoting investigative journalism in Nigeria and elsewhere. So our relationship with the centre isn't just about the awards this year in 2013. It's a relationship that we've had over many years, and it's something we're really pleased to be able to continue.
What is your assessment of journalism practice in Nigeria?
Well, I think from what we've seen tonight, journalism practice is very high, and it's great to be part of being able to reward some really exceptional journalists this evening. I mean, like I said, investigative journalism is not an easy job. It's thankless. You irritate the powerful. Your editors get bored waiting for a story, but it's a vitally important part of what journalists do, and it's some really hard work.
Finally, from me, how much more is the council willing to do to help Nigerian journalism?
Well, I'm from the British High Commission rather than the British Council, but we as well as support for the Wole Soyinka Centre, we provided support for journalists to travel to the UK in the past to hone their skills with organisations in the UK, and we'll look at further support next year and in the future.
One question from me, please. What is the level of British support towards fighting corruption in Nigeria?
Well, the British government supports very much the efforts here to fight corruption, but it very much has to be Nigerian-led. So we support those people that are involved in fighting corruption.
Yeah, oil bunkering is a huge market in Europe, right? Europe is one of the big markets for stolen oil from our shorelines. What is the fight? What is the genuine effort of the British government towards curbing this menace in our society?
Oil bunkering is obviously an issue that needs to be tackled. Again, it needs to be very much led by the Nigerian government working hand in hand with its international partners, and we're very happy to discuss ways in which we can support the Nigerian government in that. Thank you.
I write for Punch newspaper. Today I'm the winner in the print category of the Wole Soyinka Award for Investigative Reporting. And I'm so glad, and indeed I'm humbled to be the recipient of this prestigious award for the year 2013.
What does this award mean for you as a professional?
Yeah, as a professional journalist, it means that I have to double my efforts towards unraveling issues of corruption, widespread human rights abuses in Nigeria, as well as trying to bring to the fore issues in which governments, legislators, and indeed the presidency should actually put at the front burner towards making life more meaningful to citizens. And in this regard, I'm talking about bringing forth developmental programs, as well as reducing to the various issues of corruption, as well as rights abuses. Of course, these issues will be my focal points and my major areas in which I will work towards in the coming year, 2014.
Your investigative story about the new testing one user support. Can you tell us the obstacles that you had to go through while doing this story?
Yeah, the story actually, the drive to do this story came from my personal drive towards setting things in proper perspective. Of course, it's not so easy unraveling issues of abuses, especially towards little children, I mean the minors. I had issues relating with the children. Out of the 10 pupils that these human rights abuses were carried on, I was actually able to visit the 10 places, the 10 homes of these children, but only 3 of these parents were able to speak with me. At the point I got to one of the residences, and the mother said, "Where did you say you come from?" The journalist from the point, "Please, I don't want you now. Please get out, get out." I was indeed embarrassed, and because of my shared passion for this job, I went on. I went to the 3rd house, the 4th house, the 5th house, and I went on. And at the end of the day, I got 3 children, and indeed 3 parents to speak to me on this issue. I think more needs to be done in terms of enlightenment of parents towards bringing out issues of this, making it known to the populace, to the police, to the government, as well as making these issues really go to the barest minimum, such that our children, who are so precious to parents, will not be unduly abused in society.
What will you say to your audience about going all the way for stories like this?
Of course, doing investigative reporting is no mean feat. It's very, very, very stressful. It takes time. I did this story for almost 3 months, and each time my editors keep encouraging me. You need encouragement, and that's why I will always thank the management of the Punch. They were always. I remember the second day I was going to do the story, my boss told me, "You have to get these people. You have to get their parents." At the point I had to call and say, "I can't get anybody now. What do I do?" He kept on telling me, "That's your job for today. If you like, you can sleep there." So, in basic terms, it means you need to encourage yourself, apart from encouragement from your bosses at work. And of course, everybody that should be a journalist should have a shared passion for it. Have a shared passion, encourage yourself to doing things extraordinary. And of course, at the end of the day, you see yourself doing yourself proud, doing your newspaper proud, and of course, doing the society proud. And I'm so glad, so glad. I've said this all over again. I'm indeed to be a recipient of this award.
Mr. Hampton, thank you.
I think I can be for the shot.
Okay. Good, great.
Yeah, my name is Soyinka.
Okay. For the second consecutive year, you are the winner in the cartoon category. What does this mean for you?
Yeah, for me, it means a lot. It also means a lot of work. It now shows that people are ready to listen, that people are seeing what I'm doing. That actually something that really makes me happy.
Cartoonists are said to be people with very few words, and you seem to be a man of very few words. Is this a true characteristic of cartoonists?
Yeah, you know, when you have your work speaking for you, you don't really need to interrupt. So for me, my work speaks for me. So most of the things I worry about, I express in my work. That is
What is your impression of the Wole Soyinka Award? You are a second-time winner in 2 years of this award, back to back.
Yeah, I think the standard is quite high. Because I consider the kind of cartoons that I send here. Because I know the kind of cartoons that get past not get to some of the awards in Nigeria. But it shows that you don't really care who's up to score.
When will you be tired of winning?
Yeah. I'm tired of working, and so far as I keep working, the work will always deserve awards.
What do you have for the organizers of the Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism?
I think what I seem to see here is I think it's publicity, because a lot of people don't know that this award happens every year. And most people, when they say, we have won this award, and they're asking which award is that. So I think that is one area that needs to be worked on. getting around, so that the winners of award themselves will see their work to get to all those places.
Your winning work was the Athletes Nigeria Miss in 2013. Now, how would you categorize that as?
For me, political cartooning for me is actually about the subject matter. And so when I look at something, I get angry enough to find actually anyway that it's actually the anger first that comes before the humor. Because I get actually angered about certain things that happen, and then I ask myself, how do I get to pass this anger across, without having to make others angry too. So it's like I find a way to finding a way to keep people in a bitter place, to put it off in honey. So that is the idea. It's actually fighting, but then it's in case of humor, so that it could be struggle.
What words do you have?
I think most time the young cartoonists actually miss the point, because they feel it's all about rendition, technical rendition. So most time they miss subject matter. And also, they underestimate their readers. They feel that readers might not understand what they want to say. So they now tend to say everything, and in the course of trying to say everything, they kill the humor. They also kill the part of the reader, in the story, where the readers have to think. So I would like to advise them to concentrate more, on the subject matter, what the story is all about, and then the humor before the technical rendition. Because right now, so many people, so many artists, so many cartoonists are confused because of digital devices. So they get so concerned about digital application that they forget that they are doing cartoon. So they get into, most times they just get into comics. So that is what I want to say for political cartoon, for digital cartoonists.
Thank you very much.
The angry cartoonist.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations again.
Congrats. That is the winning team. And a veteran journalist, the first editor of Cross Street Journal, Tell Magazine, the business publication, and publisher of Business Eye. Good to have you here, madam.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm doing this for the Revolutionary Center. I'm still with Tell. But they just asked me to help them do this. We have witnessed the 8th edition of our award. What is your impression of the ceremony?
I think that one of the things that comes out very strongly is the fact that whether we like it or not, there would remain a small voice, a small group of people who will continually insist that the right thing is done. That's what the center stands to do. The fast disappearing practice of investigative journalism is something that a few people must keep on the front line. And one of the things that we must commend the center for is that it has kept this fire burning.
Does that obviously mean, for that reason, the River State government are supporting this ceremony?
The reality is that for us as the River State government, we understand the critical role of the media in democracy. And clearly, we know that without investigative journalism, the people will lose their voice. And that's why we think that this is a noble cause and it's worthy of support. And I believe that as a government, we will continue to support initiatives like this because we must make sure that the governed will have a voice and that we as those in government will be held accountable. Our mission statement as a government is to render transparent and accountable stewardship anchored on integrity and good governance. And this is one of those things.
You are a veteran journalist. How will you assess the present day journalism practice in Nigeria?
I think that Dr. Olayosho, quite frankly, put it succinctly, and I couldn't do half as well as he did when he talked about the quality of entries that came and the fact that we appear to be contented with what I would call armchair journalism. And I remember, and this takes me back to when I went to practice when I was away on the Afro-Friendly Press Fellowship, and I was at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. And we're doing a review of journalism practice, and I recall that the editors at the Post-Gazette said to me, what is different? And I said to them, I think that the American journalist, because of the fact that he's an email away from his respondent and he's a phone call away, has lost the art of good old legwork. And the truth is, it doesn't matter how technologically advanced the world gets, nothing beats good old legwork. Because with legwork, as you're interviewing, you see what a person says on the phone, he can mask the truth. But when you stand before someone and you're interviewing him, you will be able to tell when he is saying something and meaning something else. And that's why every day it's still important, after you've done the emails and after you've done the phone calls, to ensure that you do the one-on-ones. Because nothing beats good old legwork.
The FOI bill, how well can the Nigerian journalists put it to use? You know, one of the things in my practice I always said when I spoke to younger colleagues was the fact that whilst I'm an exponent of the FOI and I've been on that coalition from day one, there's so much we can do even without the FOI, not to talk of now that we have it. And it's really as simple as the fact that look at the story of the budgets, okay? Every year, government publishes the budget. You can get the budget. It's an open source document. How many journalists even read the budget speech of Mr. President or a governor this year and compares it to the budget speech of the previous year? Because one of the things you must do as governor or president when you deliver your budget speech is to say, last year the budget performed by X%. You're going to say the economic sector performed by this percent. The health, the social sectors perform by. So you're even going to be able to give data that an average journalist can use to ask you, what did you do with the money? So there are even open source documents that are not using. Not to mention now going for the ones that are not open source. So I think that there's more than enough material out there. The question to ask is, are we making use of it? Tonight we saw that there were journalists who made use of it, and we saw how that showed in the work that they did. Finally, you are an apostle of strong investigative journalism. Again, I think Professor Shaw and then Professor Soyinka did talk about it. You can't take away from training. And I think that media organizations need to do a bit more in terms of investing in training their personnel, because we really simply don't do enough. And you're only as good as the exposure you have. So if we're not training our personnel, if we're not giving them materials to work, if we're not providing for them the tools they need for the trade, if we're not even paying them enough for them to be able to say no, because the reality is that, you're able to maintain your dignity, but sometimes it's only for so long. What if you don't have any money? You're trying to do a good story, and your kid is dying of cancer. You don't have a hospital where the kid can be treated, you can't afford to pay the bills, and someone is willing to pick the bills. The person picks the bills, how are you going to write against that person? I mean, it's really a question of morality, but morality and ethics and reality. So we're going to have to find where's the balance. Where's the balance between just ensuring that people can meet their basic needs? And I'm not talking about the greedy journalist. I'm just talking about the journalist who is happy to just meet his or her basic needs. So those are issues that we need to deal with in the profession. Finally. I think that they're doing a great job. One thing I can say is that they need to tighten the scripts because I think the scripts are a little too long. We need to repackage the awards so that we finish in time. We keep it short, sharp, and sweet. That's just talking about the awards. But the more critical and the more important one really is thinking of what to do. How do we take this to the next level? How do we improve the journalists who win these awards? How do we encourage
those who don't win? What kind of investments can we make so that we can actually make investigative journalism what every journalist wants to do? How can we get into the newsrooms and get media organizations to key into it? That's something we need to sit down and think about as a center. How can we ensure that this is a front burner issue for us? I think that it's important that we're able to do that. And if the center can do that, it will help a lot. Thank you.